Okay, we got something different. So apparently, first of all, we got another one. We got another one. All right. What is it? Oh, Willy Wonka basically had a sequel that nobody knew about. Like, this is basically like the longest reach that I've ever. I only listened to a minute of it, and I was like, I have to make it a video. But basically, it's the longest
filmmakers
reach
is the
of all
South
time.
Korean director Bong Joon-ho. I remember seeing his film The Host when it came out in theaters when I was like 16, and it blew my mind. His stuff is really dark and quirky, and he didn't really break out.
You're not thinking about it. Some of them Korean, Japanese, and even some Chinese filmmakers, low-key, like, took like the American style and like made it their own thing. And I think it's actually kind of like cool. I just wish it was like lip synced properly,
The US
so I
in
could
a
actually
huge
deal with
way
it.
until Snowpiercer came out. I really like Snowpiercer, but one interesting thing about it was that it reminded me of my favorite movie of all time.
And that's crazy. I never seen Snowpiercer.
Okay, I may have lost a lot of you there.
You almost lost me.
An incredibly violent R-rated movie set in the post-apocalypse from 2013 possibly remind me of a children's classic from the 1970s. Well, they're both two movies about groups of people that work their way through a large, fantastic structure. One by one, a person from the group is removed in each room until one person makes it to the very end, who then found out that the entire thing was a test because a wealthy industrialist needed to find a new successor.
Hey, yo.
Okay. Are you still with me?
Low
Because
key.
the more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm convinced that Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka, and Ed Harris plays the adult version of Charlie Bucket, who
And this is
took
where I stopped.
over Wonka's candy empire and
'Cause
who
this
is
is
the
crazy.
one who built the super train.
Because this is it low-key is making sense, bruh. Like, who else would do it? Who else would steal Willy Wonka's idea other than Sia Harris? Ready?
Before I start
Maybe it's
getting
both.
into the specifics, let's take a look at the broad commonalities that these movies have. Both of the plots heavily revolve around economic class structures, children, food, and I mean food in a big way.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to watch Snowpiercer.
Roast beef and a baked potato.
But most interesting of all, both of these stories thematically examine sacrifice, choice, and free will. There are a
Bro,
few moments in Willy Wonka, if you think about them, play into the idea of fate and the roles that certain people are destined to fulfill.
Do you ask a fish how it swims?
No.
Or a bird how it flies?
you can
No, siree,
you
you
can trick somebody into thinking it's fate by simply like if you ever seen the movie Focus. Focus is a good way. It's a good way to see that fate is not like fake, but people can fucking change to make it look like people can basically trick you, bro.
They do it
That's
because
what
they were
Focus
born to
taught
do
me.
it.
I am a hat. You are a shoe. We must each of us occupy our preordained particular position.
But this
Just
is
like
crazy.
Wonka was born to be a candy man, and you look like you were born to be a Wonkerer.
Like, it's honestly such a missed opportunity that I want this to be real. Like Willy Wonka having a sequel where the little kid that wins grows up and makes his own shit, and it's a fucking bullet train that people have to get through.
Now let's look at the hard facts.
All right, he got evidence.
Remember that
Okay.
Willy Wonka specializes in creating two different things in his factory. State-of-the-art food production.
Yeah, he had the lickable walls and whatnot. Oh.
And experimental modes of transportation.
Oh shit. Experimental. The train. I didn't even think
does
about
all
that.
of this in a factory that is completely sealed off from the outside world, meaning that Wonka has the technology to make a food-producing factory that is self-contained and self-sustained.
I didn't even peep that Willy Wonka really did have enough money to make a food factory, so he self-sustained himself for basically his whole life, and then he was outside of like regular city means and whatnot. He had like his own little hood basically. I didn't even remember that. And then that being the little bruh. Wait, what? Hold up.
Nobody ever goes in.
And this train is a closed ecosystem.
Nobody ever goes in. Nobody ever comes out.
With that in mind,
Oh,
let's
shit.
try to piece together a hypothetical timeline that links these two movies.
A
At the
hypothetical
end of Willy
timeline.
Wonka, Charlie inherits the factory. He does his
Oh,
best to
shit.
continue Wonka's philosophy of decadence and imagination. But let's suppose that Charlie ends up forsaking his last name Bucket and as an apprentice takes on the name of Wonka, specifically Wilfred Wonka. And also, like his teacher, is sure to brand everything with a giant W.
Wilfred Wonka
Fast
makes so
forward
much
to
sense.
2014.
Willy
In an
Wonka,
effort to
and he
combat
changes his
global
name?
warming, the governments of the world agree to disperse the gas CW7. Charlie, now known as
That's real life
Wilfred,
shit, by
is
the
one
way.
of the few people that can foresee the devastating consequences of this gas, given his experience in chemistry, which is actually foreshadowed in this
It's not that shit, though,
overlooked
but it's different
scene
shit.
in the original Willy Wonka.
Good lad, pour.
I might go back and watch both of these now.
Big waltz.
Realizing that CW7 would be too effective in cooling the planet, Charlie devised his only plan that he could to save the rest of humanity, by focusing on Wonka's transportation and self-sustaining aspects and making the Snowpiercer, under
Oh
the
my
guise that it was
God.
simply just another luxury product. Saving all of
Because
humanity
that would be so. Yo, this actually is making so much sense. If Willy Wonka had a self-sustaining civilization within a civilization, the next step would be to make the civilization move, which is what the train is doing, and it's moving throughout the entire world and not stopping. And then he has a factory on the train to make him chocolate
at a
bars.
great cost, though. Charlie knows that the
gonna
population
have to go watch
is going to have to be
Skypiersons.
strictly
What is
regulated
this?
in order to keep the train self-sustaining,
Snowpiercer.
which is going to involve the loss of human lives.
Precisely 74% of you shall die.
Is it still the same number?
Yes, it still stands at 74%.
This important role that percentages will play in his future
What?
is once again foreshadowed in a classroom scene.
Percentages. And for an example, let's take the recent unpleasantness.
I am actually like,
Hey!
Surviving
I
the
am
near
actually, like,
extinction of the human race causes
surprised, bro.
Charlie to go completely insane and take
yeah,
drastic
that
measures in
that
order.
would make so much sense, because in the universe where he gets the Willy Wonka joint, he gets the entire factory and then it fails. He would go crazy and probably do
preserve
some shit like
humanity.
this.
But it is important to note
To
he
preserve
still holds on to
humanity.
Wonka's sense
Oh.
of decadence and imagination. In
Damn.
fact, there's a lot of things that he borrows from Wonka's playbook. All of Wilfred's shock and awe manipulation tactics were actually learned from Willy Wonka.
Understood we need to maintain a proper balance of anxiety and fear.
We need
chaos.
to maintain a proper balance of anxiety, fear, chaos, and horror in order to keep life going. That
In
sounds
order to keep life going.
crazy, but like
we don't
low
have
key,
that,
that's called balance.
we need
Yin
to
and
live.
yang.
When it came time to find a successor, Wilfred even borrowed Wonka's method of hiding messages inside of food.
Damn. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and watch Willy Wonka,
And
because it makes so much sense, bruh. He's reaching like John Jones perfection. Like he has that kind of reach right now. Because like, what?
That wasn't what Gilliam and I had in our plan.
What?
No, don't tell me you didn't know. Gilliam and I, our plan.
Come in, Mr. Wilkinson. Charlie, meet Mr. Wilkinson.
Pleasure.
Slugworth!
No, that's not Slugworth. He works for me.
All right, pause for a second. Feel free to call me crazy if you haven't already. But don't you think that there's a little bit more than a passing resemblance between Mr. Wilkinson, the spy hired by Willy Wonka to play Slugworth, and Gilliam, the leader of the back section of the train that was secretly working for Wilfred all the time? Would it be too much of a stretch to
spoiling the
assume
movie,
that they
but I
are
love
in
it.
fact the same person? The timelines match up, and it makes sense that Wilfred would refer to Gilliam as an old friend. And having it be the same character adds a layer of significance to this moment from earlier.
Yo, if it's the same, it would make sense because he wasn't that old in Willy Wonka. He would be just an old ass
The
nigga.
movie.
I'm a shadow.
But why is he at the
shadow? My day was decades ago.
And the strange thing is, he might not.
And it's like there's no. I mean, there's copyright rights to Willy Wonka, but not like making another movie. That's a different type of thing. And he, bruh, this is like.
Be the only.
This is scary.
Alive. Fair warning, even I think this next part's a bit of a stretch. So if you want to get back to.
Nah, at this point, bro, whatever type of stretch you want to make, pause. Whatever type of stretch you want to make, whatever reach you want to like.
More reasonable.
I'm gonna let you spit because you cooking.
Skip to this mark. There's something weird about the passengers in first class that Wilford has in charge of the train. Why would these people who are insane and selfish be left in charge? Well, one could look at it as a deliberate statement of satire, or maybe these were all significant figures. Enigmatic figures in Snowpiercer is the seemingly unstoppable and almost mute gunman, Franco the Elder. In a train that's supposedly run out of bullets, how is this man so skilled? Well, what if he's had an obsession with guns since he was a child?
I'm Mike TV. Well, you're dead.
One can easily see how this young boy with an obsession of fictional violence could grow up to become a deadly soldier.
Like the killings, huh?
What do you think life's all about?
Mike, would you tell us
The names were changed. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
That he delivers his first devastating kill on a TV screen. Maybe Charlie/Wilford kept his fellow golden ticket winners around as an example of this twisted sense of mercy.
And Wilford is divine. Wilford is merciful.
And that's what's her face, isn't it?
Swinton gave an iconic performance as Minister Mason. But what if Minister Mason is just the future version of...
Oh my god.
Now, you might think I'm reaching here.
No, you're kind of like what I said. John Jones, you're like perfect. John Jones reach you, bro. Like how my hand is to my camera. Like I'm almost touching y'all. I'm right there, but it's not going to touch. It never is.
Seem like, that similar at first. We don't know what Veruca is like after surviving the garbage chute.
That is true.
Remember, her and her father were trapped together, and there's a good chance she narrowly avoided getting incinerated. This could have traumatized Veruca
as a kid. Yeah, this makes so much sense on why they're different as adults, because they were traumatized as kids in Willy Wonka's factory.
Instead of being ungrateful, she now became too grateful.
And now she's too grateful.
To the of Charlie,
holy shit. Instead of being the ungrateful little girl.
Suckle the generous titty of Wilford.
But she still keeps her ill temper and tendency to insult people.
You filthy ingrates.
You're always making things difficult.
Now, I understand the idea that Tilda Swinton is playing a traumatized Veruca Salt is a little thin, but there are at least
bro, this is
they both have fur coats, and both of these characters always enter the room first.
I want to go in first before anybody else.
Oh my god, yo, you just talking about you're talking about that you're not making good points and you're making the perfect points. You're hitting points that nobody's thinking about.
Salt finally got what he wanted.
Talk about paying attention to fucking detail.
The last major member of Wilford's posse is the child catcher.
The child catcher.
And almost little to no information is given to us about this character. The clearest details we get about her are her body type, her lack of impulse control.
Yep.
Mind the engine. She's getting sensitive recently.
And the fact that she eats her own blood. And there's a character in Willy Wonka that exhibits all of these tendencies.
The boy's name, Augustus Gloop.
Oh,
both of these characters have ravenous appetites, poor impulse control,
Augustus!
and members of the Gloop family are known to eat even inanimate objects. Claude might just be the daughter of Augustus Gloop. As for well, I confess she doesn't really fit into this theory. But it is worth mentioning there's another woman with a giant swollen belly. Also, there's a candy in Willy Wonka that could be seen as the precursor to the flammable waste drug Chronal. No, it's not the everlasting gobstopper. It's the exploding gum for your enemies that Mike TV eats.
I told you not to, silly boy.
I told you not to, silly boy.
But there's one key signature element from Willy
What the
Wonka that
fuck?
isn't present in this linked Snowpiercer theory.
Okay.
But in a weird way, the fact that it's missing proves that these two films are connected. And
Wait,
I'm
what?
of course talking about the
The
Oompa
Loompas.
Loompas.
Oh shit. I didn't even think about that. Them not being there is a perfect.
Surely, if this was indeed a sequel to Willy Wonka, wouldn't there be Oompa Loompas everywhere working on
No.
the train? Well, they would have been if they didn't
Didn't go
go
extinct.
All
Holy
of
shit.
Wonka's prior transportation technology was operated by Oompa Loompas. It was operated by tiny people.
Oh
The space only
shit.
allows for a very small person. The engine lasts.
Oh my god. The engine only operates for. You can only go in if you're a small person. That was it.
Maybe it's because there is no female Oompa Loompa and thus they can't procreate.
I didn't even think about that. No female
All the
Oompa Loompas.
died out. Wilfred Wonka needed the next best thing to keep his perpetual
Children.
small children.
Oh my god. What do you have at? You have a part 5, you
all
fool?
of this leads to one big question. Why have I been so obsessed with this?
You got
For
me
years,
you have me obsessed now. This is actually pissing me off.
I really wanted to make this video.
2013
and, like,
and then
this is
1970.
Really esoteric.
That's
thing to
like
keep being obsessed
40 years
about.
apart.
But I think there's an important reason why it's stuck in my head. It made me appreciate the fine details of these excellent movies, like how both
that's
Wilfred
more.
and Wonka greet their guests by saying,
Curtis, dear boy.
Charlie.
Oh my god, bro. He just keeps finding
and I
similar.
think they make both movies more interesting. Selflessness
Low
is a
key.
very important part of Snowpiercer, and Curtis has been longing to sacrifice his arm through the entire movie. In the end, he finally achieves that selfless sacrifice, just like Charlie did at the end of Willy Wonka when he gave up the everlasting gobstopper. And it adds a twisted note to Wilfred's final moment when he witnesses a sacrifice against himself that parallels his own.
Oh,
All he can say
shit.
is,
Nice.
and I do think this story ruins the end
Nice.
of Willy Wonka by having Charlie turn evil. When you think about it, both movies end with a hug, and with the notion that the children are really the ones that will carry on the future for us. Sure, this is all kind of ridiculous to believe, but maybe it is true, and all it takes is a little imagination. But most importantly, if you enjoyed this video, all I ask is this. Tweet at Chris Evans.
That used to be my
Tell him
shit,
to watch
bruh.
this video and make him admit once and for all that Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka.
Don't worry, bro.
If he says
I'ma
it,
tag him.
It's canon. Because that's totally how this stuff works.
I hate this nigga. If Chris Evans tweet at Chris Evans, and if he says it's canon, then it's canon because that's how this stuff works. You're getting a subscribe, my nigga, because that was perfect. What the hell?